So I'm Kevin Donham, and I currently work for the Oregon Environmental here in Redmond, Oregon. But I started my wildland firefighting career in 1981, just out of high school in Prineville, working for the Oregon Department of Forestry. So I worked firefighting in the summer to pay for my schooling in college in the winter months. So I worked for Oregon Department of Forestry for a couple years, and really liked firefighting. I had a really good time. I got a job in 1983 with the U.S. Forest Service on the Crooked River National Grasslands, and spent about 7-8 years there on the grasslands, and had a great time. I was on an engine crew, went out on hand crews, and really started getting, that firefighting into my blood, and really enjoyed it. And stayed at the Forest Service, had a great career. I ended up working in, pretty much was nice. I had a chance to kind of touch all aspects in the wildland fire management for the Forest Service. Even got a chance to work for the BLM for a while as well. Had a very fruitful, fulfilling career. Ended up retiring in 2014 as the Fire and Aviation Staff Officer on the Crooked River Siskiyou National Forest out of Medford, and it was a great job, one of my favorite jobs I ever had, and took about 4 days off, and then I went to work for Oregon Environmental, and I've been here since then, and it's been also another great opportunity, and it's kept me in the fire service and give me an opportunity to be in the environment I really like to be in around firefighters. In the federal service, we use the private industry a lot. We rely on them a lot, and I've had a relationship with the private wildland fire service because I needed their help. The agencies, all the agencies, never really, it got to a point we didn't have enough resources to take on the responsibility of firefighting on our own, so we had to go into the private sector for help. And it started out, I think the first time I really got exposed to the private industry and firefighting was probably personally in the late 80s, early 90s. And the relationship between myself and the industry I thought was really good, and I relied on them a lot. They were kind of our bench that we didn't have, and so it worked really well. And so I guess the big transition I had when I left the agency and went into the private industry, there was a lot of things I had to learn about, and that's I like that. I like the opportunity. I don't want to be at the top end of the bell shape curve. I want to keep learning. I think that's the place I want to be. The steep part of this learning curve I got, the transition, was that the relationship that I perceived we had with the industry as a federal employee was a little different that we have as a private sector employee with the agencies. I thought it'd be more seamless. I thought it'd be more of a partnership type of basis. And to me, it's more of a contractual relationship, what I found out. And I think that's the toughest part that I've had to adjust my thinking and how I respond as a manager and an operations person in the private sector. It's a little clunky that the things I used to do as a federal employee with the private industry doesn't always go the same way from a private industry back to the federal or the state.